Hey, dwellers of the internet, welcome back. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between Little Bambino's pizza and Little Caesar's pizza. I can only speak from personal experience. This is going to be highly biased because, obviously, people's tastes are different and their experiences are going to differ, and pretty much what they like in a pizza is just going to vary. So, keep in mind this is highly personal, but here's the differences and experiences that I have. When I go to Little Caesar's Pizza to pick up a pizza, you can order on the phone, and when you do, they give you an estimated completion time. They don't do delivery, but they give you a time at which to pick up your pizza, within the next 30 minutes or 45 minutes or so, which is fine, it's cool. Little Bambino's does the same thing. This is good for the estimation of the time period in which you can pick up your pizza. It's just fine. They're on an equal playing field. It's useful in the same exact way as when it would be useful to the other. Little Bambino's and Little Caesar's do the exact same thing, and that's fine with me. It's just a simple beneficial thing that pizza shops do, which is allow you to order from your phone and give you an estimated time at which you should be there and at which it will be completed for you, which is cool. Let's get on to the breadsticks. Let's just go there. Little Caesar's has crazy bread. Little Bambino's has something else. Some other random type of breadsticks. I forget the name of them exactly. But if I recall right, these breadsticks are better than the crazy bread that Little Caesar's offers to you. When you go to Little Caesar's, you get the crazy bread and you put it in your mouth, and what you get is sort of it's kind of like a deception, really. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but when I took a bite of crazy bread, I noticed first the oil and the butter and the cheese coating that they put on the outside of the breadstick. This initiates an immediate sense of flavor, and it gives you the impression that these breadsticks are delicious, and it's great. You like it right off the bat. But within a matter of, no exaggeration here, I'm being completely literal, 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds later, after you've chewed enough to start digesting this breadstick, this crazy bread, into your mouth, the flavor dissipates immediately. And then what does it taste like? Just pure bread. It's just bread without any flavoring. And garlic, that's another thing. Garlic is present, but still, only for a marginal amount of time beyond those 2 to 3 seconds. The garlic is probably present for 4 to 6 seconds, and then it too dissipates, and then all you're chewing and eating is bread that you have to moisturize with your own spit and saliva that you can't get down otherwise, so you're just sitting there chewing bread for a certain amount of time. For a longer period than you should have to for something that should be enjoyable as a complimentary pieces to pizza. It's stupid. And when you get the breadsticks from Little Bambino's, it's just not the same. Not only does the flavor that they add to the breadsticks last a hell of a lot longer, but the bread doesn't seem as thick or as as puffed up. I'm not sure what exactly is the cause of the continuous indigestion ability of the bread. Like, you can just eat the bread from Little Bambino's pizza easier. It's not, you have to take a longer time dealing with that just bread of Little Caesar's than you do for the bread and the flavor in general of Little Bambino's, which makes it a quicker and better experience, in my opinion, because you're not just sitting there chewing on bread for like 10 minutes. You're You're eating something delicious, which its flavor lasts longer, and as soon as it enters the period of an absence of flavor and an absence of taste, it goes down pretty easily and just kind of complements your meal of the pizza. Which should be the case, I think. Better than Little Caesars, anyway. I'm sure there's better out there, like I said, but as far as as far as the pizza goes too, there's better out there, and there's better shops that claim to be out there. Plenty in New York. Oh, we've all got the best pizza. Yeah, that's a thing. But regardless, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the best pizza in the world. I'm talking about Little Bambinos versus Little Caesars. Now you go to Little Caesars and you pick up a pizza and you eat it. It is delicious. Let me just say that. Little Caesars is delicious. I enjoy getting Little Caesars pizza, specifically pizza, when it's available to me, or when it's sort of the last resort, you know what I mean? Or the last resort for a good pizza, anyway. You know what, I should probably clarify. Little Caesars and Little Bambinos are both pizza shops that were local to me as a kid, and that to this day both transcend Pizza Hut and Domino's and pretty much any other nationalized or extremely popular pizza shop that I've ever come into contact with. Little Bambinos and Little Caesars have always been beyond those extremely advertised pizzas as far as taste, as far as the quality, as far as my reception of them has been concerned. They have just been better. They do not taste as artificial. When you eat a Domino's pizza, you can taste the fact that it was made in a hurry and procedurally. I can't exactly explain how, but you can definitely tell. Now these other pizzas, Little Caesars and Little Bambinos, they're prepared locally, and they are prepared, I think, not exactly as procedurally. To a certain extent, they do have a method, they have a formula. Obviously, you couldn't make a pizza fast enough to make a profit off of it and to mass produce it if you didn't have a formula or a certain way you went about it that was made into a model that you could follow. But I feel like the models for Little Bambinos and Little Caesars were paid attention to with a little bit more care than the models for Domino's or Pizza Hut. They have not been done so many times that the people doing them are doing them through sheer procedure. There is care going into the preparation of the pizza. There is not only care, but the methods are still based on providing a quality taste and not just mass production. At least more of a quality taste than these other companies can provide. Now, when I bite into a Little Caesars pizza, it's delicious, it's great. When I bite into a Little Bambino's pizza, it's delicious, it's great. I find them both wonderful. But the difference is that now I don't want to say Little Caesars tastes like cardboard, because it does not. It's not of the cardboard level like some Domino's pizzas have been in the past. It is something more, which is why I like it in the first place. It's already giving me a good taste. I'm not trying to bash them. But it does taste rather thin. Now, I'm not talking about the crust. I don't mind thin crust. I don't mind thick crust. The crust, honestly, is not even a factor I'm considering here, because I don't care either way what crust you kind of get. Now the toppings, I'm not really bringing them into question either, because the toppings are utilized pretty much on an equal playing field between Little Bambinos and Little Caesars, which are about the same. If you order bell peppers on a Little Caesars pizza, they're going to taste about the same as when you order bell peppers on the Little Bambino's pizza. Little Bambino's and Little Caesars, they're pretty much equal as far as adding to the taste of the pizza. Now, what I mean by thinner is that when you take a bite into the actual pizza, where the pepperoni and the cheese lies, in Little Caesars, you are not tasting enough of it, and it is gone far too quickly. When you take a bite of Little Bambino's pizza, you taste thick cheese, not thick sauce, but a lot of sauce. You taste the pepperoni and the bell peppers complementary to the thickness of the dough below, which is not too much more than Little Caesars, but it's enough to add to the amount that you're consuming, which will fill you up more, which is pretty much the purpose of crust and any bread. Like the bread around the sandwich is to fill you up more, slightly with, more with the goal of filling you up rather than providing you with taste, which is great. And Little Bambino's accomplishes this in a better way because not only is the bread below the toppings thicker, but it's not thick enough to where you feel like it's consuming your entire meal and you can't taste anything like some too thick bullshit crust on any other kind of pizza, or something tasteless that's just being added for filler, like bread on a sandwich that is like stale bread on a sandwich is pretty much what it's like. It feels a bit thicker and just less digestible. But Little Bambino's capitalizes on this not only by adding more bread so that you do feel more full when you eat it, but also by adding more cheese and more of their sauce. And I feel like the proportional addition of different toppings and as well as the crust just exemplifies the quality so much more. It brings it out. It makes it feel like you're having a meal, and it all coincides together perfectly to where it can create a dish for you that you can appreciate, a quality pizza that is not just something that you can get by like Little Caesars does when you're eating it and you're like, well, this isn't exactly super good, but it's beyond the normal kind of pizza, which is my impression of it whenever I eat it. With Little Bambino's, I not only think this is beyond the normal quality of mass-produced pizza, but it's also super well prepared, and it's delicious because they have so much of what they're adding into it. Now, this is not the only reasoning. It's not just the amount. It's the fact that Little Bambino's, I don't know if it's an added ingredient. I don't know if it's the composition of their sauce or the way they make their cheese or the freshness of which they prepare it, because Little Caesars and Little Bambino's prepares their pizzas fresh right in front of you, so they're both at the same exact amount of freshness. But I feel when I'm eating a Little Bambino's pizza that it's fresher, and the only conclusion I can come to, by which I would come to that resolution, is that Little Bambino's just has better ingredients as far as composing their salsa and their cheese and their pepperoni and whatever other toppings you might add. I feel like they are perhaps paying for ingredients with a higher potency in taste or just a lasting taste. Maybe it has to do with the adverse effects of adding certain amounts of bread to your pizza and what that can do for a customer and the amount given to them. I'm not exactly sure. All I know is the ingredients, the toppings, the preparation, and the while I'm at it, the customer service at Little Bambino's just makes it a better experience for me, above all taste-wise. And if you're going to choose one or the other, choose Little Bambino's because they are delicious, I would say. Now again, if you only have a Little Caesars close to you and you're thinking about ordering Domino's or Pizza Hut, choose the Little Caesars because they go beyond those, they go beyond the mainstream, I would say, as far as quality. But if you do happen to have the elitist choice of going with Little Caesars or Little Bambino's, choose Little Bambino's. They're definitely better. That's it. That's my take on two different pizza joints that I've been to that I really like a lot. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.